Season 1, Episode 3, John Chinaman.
Okay. Welcome back to another episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast, where we're talking Warrior Season 1. We're covering episodes 3 and 4 today. I am joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader's here, pouring himself a drink. What's up?
I don't know how I'm going to do this.
You'll be fine. Jude is also here.
Hello.
Welcome. And the producer of the show, Matthew Kadish. What's up?
Very excited to talk about this show again. I thought that our introduction to season 1 was a very good episode, and so I'm looking forward to doing more of this.
Yeah. I'm thoroughly enjoying watching this show again. It's one of those rewatchable things. I don't get tired of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
This is a good.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. Alex and I, we go to school together. So
We're both college kids.
We're both college kids. But at class yesterday, we were talking about Warrior. And we were saying, like, we've watched these episodes like 3 or 4 times at this point because, like, we watched it last year for fun, and then we thought we were going to cover it, so we watched it again, then we never did, and now we're, like, revisiting it for the show because we are covering it, and we were both like, I don't mind watching these episodes, like, 3 or 4 times.
Not at all.
Because they're that good.
They're so fun.
This show is so good. I don't understand why people aren't talking about it.
I loved Alex's reaction when he realized that like the main character's name is literally Awesome.
Awesome, yeah. And a toy.
A toy.
And Young June, which in this episode, I think they call him Baby June, which freaking cracked me up.
Yeah.
And then there's Father June. So, like, the names are, like, very suited to their
I've
characters.
been trying to figure out why his sister's name isn't like a bitch.
She's cool. What do you mean, a bitch? She's not a bitch.
She's kind of a bitch.
Well,
Here's a ticket. Get the fuck out of here.
yeah. Well, she's causing problems.
She's a boss bitch.
Yeah.
That's what she is.
She's causing, or he's
He's
causing.
been a thorn in my side since we were children.
Awesome is causing a bunch of problems. She's trying to get rid of them. Anyway, episode 3, heavy spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on HBOMax, or you can join us on Discord Monday nights to watch the show as well. Episode 3 called John Chinaman. So we got left off with Awesome getting taken and blamed for starting a fight, and he's now in jail.
They're also framing 2 Irish murders on him. Basically, Atoy killed 2 Irish guys, and when the cops found him, they're like, we need to pin this on someone. So when they arrested Awesome, they're like, this guy did it.
Yep.
Yeah. You see the way he moves?
It's got to be him. So anyway, Jude, take it away with
Okay.
episode 3, John Chinaman.
At court, Assam is falsely charged with provoking an attack on the 2 Irishmen. Irish mob boss Dylan Leary sends his men to attack Assam in jail, only for the latter to defeat him. Assam calls out Bill for aiding the Irish mob, which causes Bill to change his opinion of Assam. The next day, the charges against Assam are dropped when the Irishmen fail to appear at court after Mai Ling threatens to kill their family. This causes an angry mob to form, which the mayor subdues by promising swift action against the Tongs. Assam is able to sneak out with help from Bill and Wang Chao, with the latter giving Assam a message from Mai Ling, who tells him to leave San Francisco. Assam returns to the Hopway, where he is given a hero's welcome party, only to be later punished by Father June due to his actions. Later that night, Assam visits Penelope at her home, where she thanks him for saving her, and an angry Leary orders the 2 Irishmen and their family to leave San Francisco before his gang sets fire to their house.
It should be noted that I wrote these synopses, and Jude did not have time to Jude them up.
Oh, that's why.
Oh,
that's
why
why they were
stale.
boring.
Nor have I read them before. This is the first time I read them. Sorry,
That's
guys.
why they're a little stale.
Jude,
'cause
you almost put me to sleep at that.
Jude, yeah, Jude
synopsis.
needs
It's
to.
like, oh, Kate just wrote it. Never mind.
Jude
Sorry.
you need to Jude him up a little bit.
I know, sorry.
No, it's good. This was a fun episode. I think I like it because there's a lot of really badass fight scenes in this episode, like there always is. But this one in particular, I love the scene. So Bill, he's obviously corrupt. He's under the boot of Leary, who's like, "Hey, you need to go kill that Irishman." This is
Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary. We need some street justice. We need some street justice. Go in there. I'm going to send you 3 dudes, and we're going to take this John Chinaman guy out, right?
Careful.
Well, that's what they said. That's his name in the show.
I
His
know.
name's actually Awesome. But anyway, they send the 3 guys in there, and Awesome's just sitting there with his legs crossed and just looking at him, and he's like,
It was very, very cool
"This
how
ain't,
they
this ain't gonna
put
work."
The man from China in the cell and put the 3 men from Ireland in the cell with him.
It was dirty business.
So they could have some shenanigans and fisticuffs.
It was a badass shenanigans,
Yes.
though.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So basically, they stock Awesome's cell with these like Irish thugs
Yeah.
who have weapons on them, and they're there to basically kill him. And then Awesome just like lays them to waste. And when
Yeah.
Bill comes back down to let them out, he just sees them like all on the ground, and Awesome's just sitting there. But the coolest part about this scene, it wasn't necessarily the fight. It's that Awesome reveals that he can actually speak English to Bill.
What the hell kind of cop are you?
You can speak English.
And Bill's like, why haven't you been speaking this entire time? And Awesome's just like, would it have made any difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that he's like, what kind of Chinaman are you? And he's like, what kind of cop are you? You just sent
that was
freaking
hard.
3 guys in here.
Yeah.
That was a hard hit. That was a hard hit right back in his face.
Because he knows he's a piece of shit.
Oh, he's a total piece of shit. I love Bill, though. He's so freaking
he's good.
cool.
He
has a
kind of
real-
reminds me of you at one point.
At me?
In episode 4, he says something that I was like,
Oh,
that's Alex.
Yeah, with the kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go.
I'm,
Yeah.
I watched. I'm trying to figure out which one episode.
Oh, like
3
when he
and 4
forgets
was.
his favorite kid.
Yeah. It's like, I thought you had 5. He's like, forget
forgot.
it.
It's Alex here pretty soon.
Yeah.
A few more years. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. Shoot.
Riker. Forgot about that.
Forgot
one.
about that one. But yeah, it was a good back and forth, and I love the reveal too that he's like, oh, he speaks English, and then Bill's like, what the heck, dude? What are you?
Yeah, and he suddenly has like some respect for him. Because,
Yeah,
like,
oh,
now he
yeah,
can
Because he's
understand
more
him.
human.
And then I think we talked about this last week, but after this scene, Big Dick Lee comes down
Yeah.
and sees what happened, and he's like, dude, you can't be doing this stuff, man. This is like really dirty business. And Bill's just like, you take care of it then. He just leaves.
Big Dick Lee. Oh, he's the Southerner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Southerner.
All right,
Big Dick Lee.
Yeah, Lee
That
is
dude-
very black and white, right and wrong, and Bill's just like, listen, we're all here trying to survive.
Yeah.
I'm a
Listen-
top dog as long as I'm like low dogging you.
Yeah, I like how Lee comes down and he puts it together. He's like, but there's an empty cell over there. And
Yeah.
you put them all in here with him? And it's like, what's going on?
Lee
here?
is very observant.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I need from this show. I think some of you guys have seen this series. I have not. This is a new watch for me now.
Okay.
But if I don't get some kind of like a big reveal that Mr. Lee is like some huge piece of shit serial
No.
killer or something back from the South that he's running away from.
You and I sat and talked
yeah.
about this here when we were watching
I
this
want
episode.
some history.
So I have a theory about Lee,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it'll be revealed later on or not. And it might just be complete bullcrap. Chopper will probably be like, "You're an idiot. I'm not doing that." But my speculation was, we know he fell in love with a black girl back in Georgia, right?
We do.
Okay, so he's in the South. Yeah, it
Well-
was.
well,
it
This
was
is the first watch for me.
Yeah, that's not revealed until later, but we got a sense of it in these
get a-
2 episodes where he has a dream that he wakes up next to like this black woman.
yeah.
Thanks
That's
for
what I'm
spoiling
referring.
that.
That's what I was referring
Thanks
to.
for spoiling
we
that,
saw
man.
that scene. Don't
No,
tell me
no,
I'm
you-
spoiling it for you. I'm
you're
not spoiling it for you.
spoiler.
My theory is that something bad happened to her, and Lee went full John Wick on like a bunch of Southerners, killed a whole bunch of people, and then fled to San Francisco.
Okay.
That's my theory.
Chad says that was a spoiler.
It was not a spoiler.
It was
It
a spoiler.
happened in
Thanks.
this episode.
Thanks, man.
You wakes up. No, whatever. Just
Yeah, because Vader's so into this show.
yeah,
I actually am liking this show.
I do too. But the scene that we talked about last week when Awesome and Lee were talking to each other when Lee was just outside the jail cell.
That's a great name. He
No,
did a very
awesome.
awesome.
No,
one.
it wasn't Lee. It was Charlotte, right?
No, it was Lee. Lee, because he sits there and he's like,
You speaking English? John Chinaman.
If you ship Awesome and Lee, is it Awesome Lee?
yes. It's Awesome Lee.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to do
I'm
now?
so proud of myself.
Oh my
Big
God.
Dick Awesomely.
Big Dick Awesome
I
Lee.
mean, I'm into that.
Gross. Goddamn
The
shippers.
Southern gentleman.
And Awesome?
Yeah.
A Southern gentleman who can fight.
It could be worse. Can he fight? We haven't seen him fight.
Well, we did kind of see him get his ass kicked in the previous episode in the pond.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Lee can fight.
Lee can fight.
You can.
I've watched
Just
more
holding
of this
back?
show than you have.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, don't spoil
Can't
it.
wait.
I'm
Don't
not
spoil
going
it.
to. I'm not
Don't
going
spoil
to.
it.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time here. Are we talking about both episodes at the same time?
No.
No,
Talking
No,
about
just one at a
episode
time.
3.
Because I'm getting stuff I think mixed in.
Yeah, I
mixed
know.
up between the episodes.
We might have to rethink our strategy here.
Yeah.
But
Fucking go with
We're
it.
just talking about 2 episodes at a time. Let's just do that. You should read the second synopsis too, so we can just go.
But I like the court scene and I like the mob maneuvering. with Leary.
I thought the white people in the show,
Yes.
The ducks?
the ducks,
Call 'em ducks.
They're a bit much.
What do you mean?
They're a bit much. This is a simple little assault case. All right, this guy, it's like, oh, this Chinese guy got in a fight in on the edge of Chinatown, but the whole town is in the courthouse. The whole it was like fucking CNN and Fox News and MSNBC.
Okay, but each one of those Irishmen have like 10 people in their family.
Took my chair,
but listen, they weren't. I don't think the majority of them were there for the assault. I think the majority of them were there for the 2 murders that happened, where the guys got sliced up.
Yeah,
by
there were
a
other
toy.
people getting arraigned.
Because remember, a toy.
Well, they were going to pin that on him. They were going to pin.
Yeah,
that
I
on
know.
Wilson.
That's what I think. That's what most of the people are there for when they're like, "Oh, don't let him
seemed like
go.
it was
He's
a
a
bit
murderer."
Yeah, basically, so like the reason that it was such a big high profile thing is because they were pinning the 2 murders on Assam, and O'Leary wanted to just have Assam die in jail so that they didn't have to go through the trial and everyone could be like, okay, justice was served.
Yeah.
But when they failed that, they actually had the court case. But here's the really cool scene in this episode, which is basically Mai Ling. So Father June has written off Awesome. Like he's basically like, okay, like just that guy made his bed, let him sleep in it.
He was caught outside of Chinatown with none of his brothers around. He's on his own.
Yeah. So basically, when Mai Ling hears that Awesome's getting railroaded, she actually still has affection for her brother. And so she goes to the 2 star witnesses, the 2 guys that he assaulted in the pond, and basically threatens to kill their entire family if they testify.
Dude, that was so savage too. When she
held a knife to like
a little girl
like
right
a
to her
4-year-old.
ear.
Yeah.
She was like, it would be a shame if anything were to happen to them.
She's
I'm
like,
like,
I'm
Jesus.
sure. She's like, I'm sure it's really hard burying a family this big.
I think that was
She
when,
did
Right?
say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a lot of work to bury this many family
that was,
members.
that was when she became my favorite character.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, God, she's
savage.
vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Savage is the
and
perfect
because
word.
of her, Awesome gets released because there's no witnesses against him. So basically, like she saves his brother, or she saves her brother, and then she sends Hoon Lee out to basically take him home and tell him like he's got to get out of town now, because she basically said like, okay, like I saved your life, but you have to leave San Francisco and go back to China.
This is the price you have to pay. Like, I saved you, now get out of here. And he's like, nah.
I think I'm gonna stay.
I think I'm gonna stay.
You seem to need my help. I think I came to save you, so I'm gonna save you. She's like, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
I just saved you. He's like, yeah, but I'm your big brother. I'm gonna save you. And she's like,
that's more of an episode 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that happened in
But,
episode 4 when they were in the chariot together.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah. But it was still a good
Yeah,
conversation.
but this was the conversation with Hoon Lee.
Yeah.
Here's
basically.
the one thing about Awesome that kind of trips me up is his whole thing is he's the brand new guy with the tong, and he's not supposed to like
step out of line.
go outside the dorm, and he's supposed to stick around and be close, and he spends his entire time. This the entire 2 episodes.
He just goes on
He's
walkabout.
just not fucking around.
Dude,
Yeah.
the next
Down in
episode,
the white people land. It's like it's crazy. It's like who's watching him?
I have a name for Penelope's art gallery, and I can't wait to share it with you when we
we
talk
should
about the next
probably-
episode.
should
But we'll get there. But one of the last thing I want to mention about this episode is another amazing part is when Leary goes to these guys, the Irish dudes who didn't show up to the courtroom. And he's pissed, like you didn't do your job. You didn't get this guy
oh,
slammed.
this was badass.
Yeah, he's like, you have whatever, how much time to get your family out of town. Don't ever come back. And he lights the place on fire. And then you get this amazing cinematic of Leary's face with the fire in his eyes. And then he turns around and walks away in slow motion. There's just giant flames coming up. And I was like, that's so freaking badass.
By order of Dennis fucking Leary.
I would love it. I would love it if there's some kind of a tie-in, because this is years, like a generation before Peaky Blinders. Because Peaky Blinders is like 1920s, 1930s. This is like his grandparents or something like that.
Yeah.
If he was connected somehow to Leary in this show, I would
Still my
lose
heart.
it. I would lose it. It'd be amazing.
I just got to say that the actor who plays Dennis Leary, Dean Jager,
Dylan Leary.
Dennis Leary, yeah, that's what I said. Dean Jager is amazing. Like he was in C as well, and like he always just like he always chews the scenery whenever like he's on screen.
Lucian.
Like he's a really cool guy to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one. He fights Christian Camargo as Tamak the June. Remember when he did like the skull punch thing, which happens in this show as well. It's
Season 4.
Tropper's favorite move.
So listen, I know you guys like to pronounce things wrong. Please don't white people your way through this show with Awesome and Dennis Leary.
It's awesome.
And Dennis
Dude, that's
Leary,
what we
yeah.
do.
You are intentionally saying awesome.
No, I'm just saying it fast.
I am. I'm saying awesome because that's
his name.
That's the way
He's
I know
awesome.
to
His
say
name's literally awesome.
Awesome.
At least we don't have somebody named Shithead in this one yet.
Wait for season 3.
Not yet. Where's
No.
Father Shithead?
No, that was an invasion
Yeah,
reference, right?
yeah.
Remember Shithead from that show?
I love
No,
Shithead.
it was piece
That
of
was piece of
shit.
shit.
Piece of shit. That's
Yeah,
right.
piece of shit from Invasion.
Meanwhile, piece
Yeah.
of shit.
POS and POS
Gino,
Junior.
Yeah, POS.
Piece of shit.
I hope that
Junior.
show never gets off the ground.
You can cook too.
Oh,
It'd
my
be funny
God.
if season 3 there was a guy named Shehead in this. So there's one more really awesome, no pun intended, scene in this episode, which is basically, Awesome gets released from jail. He goes back to, the whorehouse. Everyone's celebrating his release. And Father June walks in like a freaking boss. And he's like,
yes.
oh no, you're not off the hook yet.
Yeah.
And he has to beat him back into submission.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where basically he's got this stick, and he's about to hit Awesome in the face. And
It looks like a giant door stopper.
yeah. And Awesome stops it, and Father June just looks at me. He's like, "No, let go. You're gonna let me hit you."
Yeah, he's like, drop your hands.
Yeah.
And this is what they call getting skinned
Yeah.
in. You have to get basically jumped in.
It's a hazing process.
Apparently,
Yeah.
apparently everyone goes through this.
Well, even his son,
Yeah.
Youngjun, had to do it too, and he's like, "My dad broke 2 of." Well, I think that's the
Got
next
went,
episode.
went a little
but-
harder
Yeah.
on him.
Yeah,
Didn't want to show favoritism.
yeah. But that
See, I
was
told you I
a,
was paying attention.
that was a great scene though when Father June comes in and he like strikes first, and Awesome just catches it, and they have this like dick measuring contest where they're like, "Let go," and he's like, "I really don't want to let go."
I did that once when I pissed my mom off.
You had a moment?
I regret it to this day.
Did you with a slipper?
I was a piece of shit, like 17-year-old kid, right? And I said some really disrespectful shit to my mom, and rightfully so. She found the nearest thing, which was a broom,
Oh,
and she was gonna whack the shit out of me with this broom, and this broomstick comes heading towards me, and I went, "Asa!" and I caught it like a fucking Bruce Lee, right? Wait, you're gonna have this moment someday.
I know.
And I kind of like pushed it back. I'm like, why don't you try that again?
oh my god!
And I'm
Surprised you walked away.
Oh,
Did she beat you in your sleep that night?
yeah, that was the end. It was over. It's like I got some good hits, and I deserved every single one of them.
That's a great
I love
story.
you, my mom. I love you, mom.
That's a great
Jesus,
story.
that was
On that note,
peak 17-year-old rebellion.
yeah.
But after the skin in, so there are 2 other really good scenes in this episode that kind of lead us into episode 4. The first one of which is basically a toy has Awesome up in her bedroom, and she's kind of tending to his wounds.
And she's the one that runs the brothel.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's Charlotte from C. And basically, Awesome kind of gets the hint that maybe she's, kind of buttering him up to do some stuff. And so he's like, oh, you want to hook up?
You want to mess around?
Yeah, you
And
want to
she's
mess
like,
around?
No.
Yeah, and she's got like, this other girl waiting in the
It's like-
wings. And this is the scene where Awesome gets up and just puts 2 and 2 together. And
He's like, copy that.
yeah, he's like, yeah, okay.
Can I watch?
But then he goes and visits Charlotte, or not Charlotte, Penelope. Basically, Awesome shows up at her house after she roofied the mayor, so she wouldn't have to fuck him.
That was so cringe. I mean, when he's all like,
when she. Well, that's the next episode too, isn't
no, it's
it?
not.
No, that's in this
That's
one.
in this one.
That one-
He's
that
trying
was-
to
She
kiss up on her.
She just sits down on the bed and he like grabs her hand and puts it on her dick.
No lube or nothing. He's just like stroking it with dry. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
And she's like, she just looks like she's gonna puke.
Oh yeah.
She's like literally throwing up in her mouth while her husband's like, "Come here, baby." I got
Oh,
you."
and it's like all licking
I
her neck and
freaking
stuff.
hate this guy so much. And then he just falls over because she roofied him.
But it was a really cool scene at the end when basically Charlotte and him and Awesome have like that little kind of confrontation about, she felt bad that she couldn't help him and all this other stuff.
Oh, you mean Penelope?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I keep getting those 2 confused. Penelope.
And my mind immediately went, "Who's watching Awesome?
Yeah.
How did he even get here?" It's really strange.
They're all drunk. They're all
Partying.
partying, and they're all drunk. And he just scoots out the back door, and everybody forgets where he's at, even though it's his party.
Well, everyone thought he was upstairs with Charlotte, or not Charlotte, Atoy.
A toy. Yeah.
I'm gonna kill this today.
Go ahead.
Good for you.
There's hardly any left.
All right.
Just put it all in your glass.
You guys, we've already kind of spoiled parts of episode 4. You guys want to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of funny because episode 3 had like a lot of action, a lot of cool stuff happening in it. Episode 4 kind of slows down a little bit. It's not quite as action packed as a typical Warrior episode. So
a lot happens with Bill, though.
Yeah.
So before we get into episode 4, I want to mention that you guys can support the show by going to saltynerd.com/DC and downloading a mobile game called Dragon Champions. This mobile game supports the podcast. We would like to do the same. So go head over there on your Apple or Apple or Android device and download the game. And type in the promo code SALTY to get a leg up on the competition. Dragon Champions is a free-to-play mobile game where you get to collect your heroes and go on tournaments and go on a campaign to fight other enemies and upgrade your characters and upgrade your warriors to the point where you can become top-notch level 80. And if you reach level 20, you can join our podcast guild, which jumps you in with a bunch of other hardcore members of our podcast who love to play the game as well, and they go on raids. Hardcore players. And they go and defeat dragons and go on raids and get some extra coins and some upgrades as well. And our Discord app truly has a great place for Dragon Champions fans where you guys can get some pointers on how to grow your characters and the best way to progress in the game. So head over to saltynerd.com/DC for Dragon Champions and type in salty in the promo code area. All right, episode 4, The White Mountain. The title of this episode is probably my favorite part of the episode of where they got it from, this little story that this guy tells in the beginning. Oh, so freaking good. Jude, would you like to do it or do you want me to?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Episode 4, The White Mountain. Bill is beaten by his old friend and former police officer, Jack Damon, who has been hired by the Feng Hai Tong to ensure all Irishmen, even cops, pay their debts. Assam and Penelope confide in each other and begin an affair at the fuck palace. Lee's opinion of Bill worsens when he witnesses Bill accepting bribery from Atoy during a surprise police raid at her brothel. Mei Ling has Wang Chao set up a meeting with the leader of the Feng Hai, who she kills with poison. Despite this, his successor, Xing, agrees to form an alliance with her. As Deputy Mayor Buckley spreads anti-Chinese propaganda to the press, Mei Ling gives Assam a ticket to return to China, warning him it will be her last offer of goodwill before the war between the Tongs begin. Assam rips the ticket and promises that this time he will be the one to save her.
I love that the new rival Tong is called Fun Guys.
Fun guys?
Fun guys. Some fun guys.
These dudes are
savage.
They're related to, or they believe that they're related to the Genghis Khans, and they're just like ruthlessly.
So I do have a question.
Yeah.
Is it Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan?
I have no idea.
I've always pronounced it Genghis.
I've always heard Genghis, but
Genghis style.
But we don't know. I mean, who knows? Some historian probably be able to correct.
But I love how Hoon Lee's character basically tells Mei Ling, he's like, they built the Great Wall of China to keep the fun guys out.
Yeah. It's like you can't work with them. They're terrible people. And she's like, I don't care. I need warriors. Because there's a scene where like she's like, I need you to bring me fighters. Mm-hmm. And her boy toy, what's his name again?
I forget his name.
His name is Li Yong.
Li Yong.
Yeah.
Li Yong just like rips through these new recruits like super easily. And she's like, is this the best we can get? This is ridiculous. So she's in a way of preparing for the war between the Tongs. She's like, I need people who can fight. Mm. So she goes to the other faction of these Genghis Khan dudes and basically trying to negotiate with them to be on her side during the war. And in order to get them to meet, she asks Wang Chao. Is it Wang Chao? Yeah.
Yeah.
She asked Wang Chao to like, hey, set up a meeting, and he's like, I don't want to do that. That's a terrible idea.
These guys are terrible.
And then he's like, all right, I guess I'll do it, whatever. And then she meets it, and then there's this one dude, the big fat leader type dude.
Yeah, this was a big Game of Thrones type scene.
Oh yeah, this is big deal here. And they're sitting down at the table, and she's sitting on the cross, and she's sipping on her soup nice and politely, and this dude's just like grabbing fistfuls of food.
Yeah. And he's also like, why is a woman talking to me?
Oh, he was such a douchebag. Like, I can't believe this bitch is talking to me. And she's just like, she's just sipping on her tea. Like, just keep talking, asshole.
He's like, what type of gang lets the pussy speak for them?
Oh, God. Yeah,
then she's like, I kind of thought you would feel that way, which is why I've already poisoned you.
Oh, yeah.
I've already poisoned you, my friend.
She just said, I already killed you.
Yeah.
You're already dead.
You're already
dead.
Yeah, and the great thing about that scene is that, so that guy's Lieutenant Xing.
Mm-hmm.
instantly realizes what's going on and kills the guy's bodyguards so that he can like then assume.
Oh, that was his moment to progress. That was like, oh, this is my upgrade right here.
And then Zing sits down and he's like, okay, let's talk, woman.
And then the deal is on. That's how you negotiate, man.
Yeah.
Just kill the leader and talk to the second in
Although
command.
Wang Chao wasn't too happy about that.
Oh, Wang Chao was pissed.
Yeah.
He was like, you have me set up a meeting for you. And then if one of those people in the meeting doesn't come out of it, that affects my reputation. And they're like, well, would you still have done it if we told you what was going to happen? He's like, I would have charged more.
Yeah. That was a perfect line.
You robbed me.
Yeah, that was a perfect line. He's like, you still would have done it. And he's like, yeah, but I would have charged you more money. Like, that mentality is amazing. It's hilarious from him.
Yep.
So we should probably talk about Big Bill's gambling problem that started the episode.
It's front and center in this episode.
I just look at I look at that casino and I go, man, there are no regulations.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's like your day job, right?
They clearly need the Nevada Gaming Board to come in.
And that
Lay
guy
down
gave
some
him an
smack.
out. Like,
Yeah.
Bill was up.
Oh yeah, he was.
And he could have paid back his marker and cashed out and gone home and had a nice ass night and come back the next day, not in debt. And he squandered it away.
Yeah, he's obviously addicted, like hardcore addicted to gambling.
Yeah.
And to the point where
that's why he was under Dennis Leary's thumb.
Yeah.
And so like he went to the Chinese casino in order to get away from the Irish casino.
It's not a good option.
that roulette wheel clearly needed balanced, the bias taken out of it.
But
Clearly.
speaking of the title of this episode, The White Mountain, this story that his friend Jack tells him about, like they go and they saw this mountain out of nowhere that was just a pure white mountain. They had no idea where it came from. It shouldn't be there. And they got closer to it and it's just piles of bones. And he's this morale story about like, hey, don't mess with these guys that are running this casino. And that's a real story. Do you guys know that? Yeah, that whole thing about the White Mountain. I'm sure it's exaggerated a little bit for story's sake and the pass down of the story.
The Mongols here.
Yeah, the
probably
Mongols.
Totally true.
But yeah, it's been known throughout history that actually happened. Like they go to this town and there's nothing left, but they see just this white haze on the mountain and they're like, it's just bones.
Yeah.
That's such a freaking savage
Pretty gnarly.
story.
Yeah, and
I love that story.
Isn't the casino actually? Don't the fun guys run it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he told that story.
And the reason that they hired this ex-cop is because they can't go beyond Chinatown to collect on debts. And so when white people go there and get into debt, they have other white people go and track them down. And I think, what's his name, Jack?
Yeah.
Makes that clear to Bill. And he basically says, like, I'll give you the policeman special. I'll give you 3 weeks to pay what you owe.
Yep.
But then I'm coming after you. And this is a guy who's like even bigger than Big Bill. So like, like he basically just like kicks his ass and tells him like, you got 3 weeks or I'm going to come to collect.
Oh, and Bill gets stomped.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even Lee comes to his house the next day because he didn't show up for work. And Lee's like, somebody jumped on you with 4 feet.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, shut up and mind your business.
Yeah. And help me with my socks.
Putting the socks on.
Put my socks on for me. I would have been like, bro, no.
Oh, and Lee was traumatized. Lee was probably like, I've never helped another man get dressed before. This will be new for both of us.
I just was thinking, man, I bet those socks are gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like they get cleaned every day.
No, probably stinky. A little
Those were the
crusty.
socks he got beat in last night.
Yeah.
Probably got some blood drip down in there.
His wife is such a sweetheart, though.
Is she?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's concerned about her husband. He's like, why? I don't understand. Because he's lying to her.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I had the late night shift on my own, not, oh, I was gambling all my money away.
Yeah.
And she's concerned about her husband. And then when Lee gets there, and he's like, oh, I smell coffee. Would you mind getting me a cup? She's like, yeah, I'll get you a cup of coffee. Hold on a
And
second.
then he's all like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is going on, bro? Yeah.
But another big storyline in this episode is that Evil Buckley, the deputy mayor, so after losing the court case, he knows that they need to kind of like have like a public show against the Chinese in order to kind of like settle down like the outraged populace. And so he stages a raid on Atoy's whorehouse. But what he doesn't
Let me say brothel.
what he doesn't understand is that the mayor is currently there in the afternoon getting like his fuck on. And so like he has
It's his weekly
his kink.
domination.
That freaking mask cracks me up, though. This guy's
He'll
such a piece of
spank
shit.
me.
yeah, so Buckley has to like run out there in order to like pull the mayor out before the bust happens, and like he gets him out just as like the police are coming in, and they all see the mayor go by, and they're like,
Mr.
"What,
Mayor,
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor?"
Did you see when the mayor was like face down and the prostitute behind him. Did you see the dildo in her hand?
No.
Oh my God.
It was massive.
It was
Are
huge.
you serious?
It was a two-hander.
Did I miss that? How did I miss
I
that?
don't know.
Oh, this guy's a freak.
He was getting, put your face in the pillow.
Yeah.
This is gonna make you
It
make
had
some
balls.
noise.
Oh my God.
Veins.
I must have missed that scene. Wow.
But so like as the police are clearing out the brothel and the opium den that's attached to it, one of the cops kills one of the Chinese guys who works there.
Oh, brutally too.
Yeah, and then he pisses on him on his dead body.
Yeah. And at this point, I was like, come on. I was like, we get it. The Irish guys suck. They're racist pieces of shit. But you're gonna
that was a lot.
You're gonna piss on a dude after he has shoot him in cold blood in the middle of a police raid.
And then
Get outta here.
Big Bill sees Autoy coming down the stairs, and he calls her out by name, and she's like, "Oh, you know who I am?" And he's like, "Everyone knows who you are." And she's like, "What's going on here?" And he's like, "I'm here to put you under arrest and shut you down." She's like, "Oh, why?"
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
She's
like,
like,
this-
these are good girls.
is
Yeah,
just a
this isn't
boarding
a
house.
brothel. This is a boarding house. Meanwhile, they're all half naked, standing
Yeah.
up on the staircase.
The lingeries.
And then she
You got me out of bed.
and then she basically gives Big Bill a payoff and says like, "Oh, here's a gift for Chinese New Year."
Yeah,
And then-
early
yeah,
Chinese.
yeah,
New Year.
early Chinese New Year, and Big Dick Lee is watching Bill like
Yeah.
do
Take a
this,
bribe.
take a bribe, and he's all like, "Shouldn't we still arrest him?" And Bill's just like, "Shut up, Lee. Like, this is how this is Chinatown. This is how things are done."
And when they walk out, they have this little confrontation where Bill's like, "Would you have something on your mind? Say it."
Yeah, that was a-
I
that
probably
was a-
shouldn't do an accent, but
That was a good scene.
they go back and forth, and Lee's like, "You're taking bribes. You're doing this. You're doing that. Why are you out at late at night? Or you have a gambling problem?" And he's like, "I don't ask you about your past. Why are you asking me about mine? What am I wondering? Why you're all the way out here in San Francisco?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll shut the hell up."
Yeah.
And that was the key. And I'm like,
what
this
are you
dude
running?
did something.
Oh, yeah.
What are you running from, boy?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not too
We
bad at an
all
Irish
have a
accent.
past.
That's better than I expected it to be.
Aisha, aisha, aisha. Where's me Lucky
No,
Charms?
shut the hell up.
Hey, shay,
Blue
shay,
moons,
shay,
green
shay,
No,
boy.
gotta do it with the Jameson.
The blue moons and the green
I
clovers.
should take, just out of honor of our, I have some Irish family, so out of their honor, I'm gonna take a shot of Jameson.
Speaking of your
Is that
family,
going to get us canceled? 'Cause
No.
Can white people make fun of white people?
I'm probably part Irish. It's fine.
I'm Scottish, so yeah.
yeah, Hollywood doesn't care about the Irish, so I'm sure it will be okay.
Yeah, they keep trying to replace him.
Too many redheads.
Anyway, cheers
thank
to
you.
my cheers to my Irish family.
Cheers.
Another really fun bit about this episode is that we get to see the aftermath of Awesome's beat-in, and it opens up. They're all having breakfast with Young June, and we get introduced to Bolo, the Yellow Terror.
yeah.
Oh, the yellow demon. The
yellow demon.
Dude, his
Yeah.
backstory.
Oh, he's the other.
crazy.
That
the other,
flashback, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Where he's fighting the dude in the pit.
The other
Yeah.
enforcer guy. Right?
Yeah, the enforcer. The what's the gang's name again?
The Hopway.
The Hopway. Yeah, the Hopway's enforcer.
Awesome's boss.
He looks so familiar to me. I swear I've seen him in like a major movie. He's had him in like G.I. Joe or
He's
something.
probably
Well-
I don't know, Snake Eyes or something.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember like that Bolo Young, Jean-Claude Van Damme's
Yeah.
nemesis?
Oh yeah.
So this character is named Bolo.
Bolo?
That's cool. I like that.
Is that a reference to that? You really think so?
That is Tropper making the
sure.
reference
All right.
to
and
Bolo
also,
Young.
Mai Ling was the love interest that Bolo Young.
I
was it
make
Bolo-
Myling bleed.
Yeah, it was the same movie, right?
No, that was that was Kickboxer.
It was Kickboxer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. That's a lot of JCVD references.
Yeah.
Chopper's a genius.
And when we were
And yet
interviewing
he
him,
refuses to cast him.
when we were interviewing, he claimed to know nothing about Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, sure. We see you. We were
Sly
like,
fox,
we're like,
Tropper.
can we?
June is coming up, huh?
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van June is right around the corner.
Jean-Claude
Van Damme.
But there was a great scene in here where Awesome's getting up to leave breakfast, and Bolo's there, and he's like, "You and me should spar sometime." And Awesome's just like, "Spar with the yellow demon? Fuck you."
I'm not crazy.
I'm not doing that.
That's a good move. Good move. Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes in this episode. Like, I love the stuff with Bill is real story oriented, and we get to know him and his dynamic a lot more with the inner workings of the city. But like this little bit of backstory that we get with this enforcer guy was just so freaking cool.
Do you want to share what the backstory was?
Well, he was a slave essentially working for the railroad, and I guess they just were like, "Hey, you look like you can fight," so they just put him in pits with other fighters. And in the cutscene, he was fighting a black guy. I'm assuming they kind of just had a rotation, but he would kill everybody that he fought with, which gave him the nickname of the Yellow Demon, because he gets a bonus if he kills his
owner gets the bonus.
So what happened was,
is that, are you sure?
His owner gets paid double, and then he would get a bonus.
Okay,
so you're right, yeah.
Here's what happened.
Well,
okay, the guy who's in charge of all the bad stuff.
I don't like the smile that you have in your face.
Right, he went on a little walkabout, and he found a wheel of pain in the middle of the desert with this yellow demon pushing the cart round and round in a circle.
Okay.
So many, he'd been doing this for years, got strong. Right. So then he bought the yellow demon from the dude who owns the wheel of pain, and he made him a pit fighter.
Is he?
He's
Conan the Barbarian?
He's Conan the Barbarian. Yes. So you ask the yellow demon, what is best in life? and he goes, to hear the lamentation of women.
Oh no! You ruined it.
Did I ruin it? See, I can't do this without fucking being racist.
That was way too big of a long build up for that joke.
Too long of a build up.
Yeah, you need to be shorter, more concise.
To hear lamentations.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, whatever. Don't have to fix
No, I won't. Need to be zingier.
No, I won't.
But basically, Father June sees one of these fights, and he's like, I need to have this guy in my tong. And so he basically buys Bolo from his owner.
He goes, hey, man, you want to crush your enemies?
Yeah, and as he's telling Assam this story, Assam is like, he bought you, and he's like, don't kid yourself, he bought you too.
Yeah. That was a good.
Do you want to see them driven before you? Hear the lamentations of their women?
Yes.
Which is a great segue to the fuck palace.
I like to think of it as a fuck studio.
All right, sure. But it's just like pure white, like very clean studio.
artistic.
It's got a steel tub, like a clawed tub bathtub over there.
Yeah.
What are they called? I can't remember.
claw
what they're
tub.
called. A claw tub. Anyway.
Clawfoot tub.
And then they have like this
Have you
little.
ever come across one of those cheap?
They're
Buy it.
expensive as
Buy
hell,
it.
dude.
Yeah.
I know.
Some people don't know what they got with those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
but Penelope basically has like a separate house outside that her father owns.
Her father owns the building, and she keeps an apartment as an art studio.
yeah, and a fuck palace. Come on,
Yeah,
let's
well,
be real.
it's all white, so you can't see the jizz.
There's no blue lights back then.
Right.
So
Yeah,
good.
who knows how many times Jacob came in there, right?
Came in there.
Yep.
Do you think?
I don't think.
I don't
think
think so.
Jacob
Yeah.
fucks.
Do you,
No.
you ever take a black light to a hotel room with you?
No, I can't. I
When you're
can't. I
traveling?
try not to go
Don't.
to hotel rooms.
Don't do
It's
that.
gross. I don't even want to think about half the rooms in Vegas here. Ooh.
Just go online.
You gotta. The only
Type
safe
in
place.
Vegas in
The
the
only
search
safe
term.
place to do anything is in the shower when you just like let the water clean it and you just rinse it off and then you can like somewhat know that it's not filthy.
Yeah.
But
That's why they give you slippers.
yeah.
If you go to Pornhub and type in Las Vegas,
Oh, they got rooms.
oh man, it's some next level weird shit out there. This town is beyond bizarre.
Yeah. But basically, Awesome's outside getting high with young June, and Jacob comes by, and Awesome notices, and he's like, my mistress wants to see you, but he keeps trying to talk him out of it. But Awesome basically goes to the fuck palace, and we get the great explanation about like who his grandfather was, how he ended up in China, how him and his sister learned English, and all this other stuff. And I feel like that was very necessary because like they kind of hinted at it, but now that they've explained it out, it's like okay.
I needed the exposition dump in the middle of some dry humping. With a lot of clothes
No.
on.
It was post-coital.
No, it
after
was
they-
pre-coital.
No.
Yeah, it
No,
was pre.
No, it was pillow
It was
talk.
an after snuggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
No,
banged.
wait, I think it was both.
Let's get this
Like,
right.
he's
This
like,
is very
my
important.
dad was a he was a sea captain. Oh, yeah. Man, you got a lot of clothes on.
No.
You really need to take all those clothes off.
Oh, that was the other thing.
So what the fuck?
Because we were watching
That was the
this
worst
scene.
sex scene ever.
We were watching this scene together, and she's in like a full gown.
We've already seen her fully
Right?
naked. Why can't we see more?
Well, no, she like mounts him with the gown on, and I'm like, "There's too much clothes for this. What's going on?"
She
Right
was
now?
in a hurry.
And you were like, "Oh
I said,
no."
she had to have taken all that shit out.
She was ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just left the outer layer on.
Yeah.
Everything underneath is just gone.
She took those pantaloons off and that hoop skirt.
Yeah.
I can't
Chicken
even,
wire.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
but what's,
Otherwise, that shit would have flipped straight up while she was on
It would have
top
been
of
like
him.
one of the umbrellas.
but
Like,
what was funny is that so she was showing Awesome all of her like nude portraits that she had done
to get 'em all
horned up.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, she
it was-
wasn't showing him. He found it.
Yeah, he was basically looking at
She's
porn.
left
looking
it
at her.
out.
Looking at
Yeah.
her.
she's like,
She was like,
you're looking at my porn collection.
she was
right
like,
now.
oh, you noticed this thing that I left out for you to see? Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
When you go to
like-
Vader's house and he just has a shelf full of VHS porn videos.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this, bro?
I got rid of that shit. Okay? I got rid of that when I got married.
He had him transferred to DVD.
My wife was all, you're adopting a 5 and a 6-year-old or whatever they were at the time. I don't remember, but you probably shouldn't have this stuff in the house.
Big boob blowies.
Oh, you're making me get rid of my porn.
Nailing Palin.
Okay.
Nail and Palin. That was his favorite.
Yeah, it was.
Anyways, so Awesome finds her porn collection. They got all
If
hot and heavy.
If you'll get rid of your porn for your fiance, it's love. All right, it's fine.
Sure.
Just eBay.
But she had lady porn. The drawings that she had.
Very artistic. It was art porn.
Yeah, it was
I
like
mean, that was porn back then.
it was like Jack Dawson from
Well, was it?
Titanic.
I mean, I guess they hadn't discovered.
Those were all pictures of French chicks.
They hadn't dug up ancient Rome yet. I guess it's with all that dirty shit.
Romans were
Oh
freaks.
man, they're freaks. Freaks. Yeah.
Is that it for this episode?
No. So basically, after Penelope and Awesome hook up, Awesome's leaving, and Mai Ling is out there waiting for him, basically. And
My Ling can find anyone. And he's like, I'm going to save you. And she's like,
I
I guess
honestly,
the town's
you're not
that
even
big.
covering your tracks, dude.
listen, before we could, I thought this was a little convenient. Number one,
What's that?
that he goes to the fuck palace and bangs the mayor's wife. My Ling somehow knows she's there. He's there, but he's not supposed to be there. People from his own tong don't know he's there, but yet his sisters he knows exactly
Maybe
where
she
he's
had
at.
him follow.
She has spies.
Well, I'm saying he's not very good at sneaking around.
I'm just gonna
because-
say,
I agree with you.
I'm gonna say one thing. We don't know where Jacob's loyalties lie.
yeah, this is true.
Could have been him.
Where's a Young June? Is he following him around going, why are you banging?
No,
why
Young
are you
June's
banging-"
getting high.
Why are the Hopways not wondering why he isn't like hanging out
Young
with
June
the
does not give a fuck who he's fucking.
I'm
if
just
Young
saying.
June knew he was fucking a white woman, he'd be like, details.
The mayor's wife at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I just see trouble.
Oh, for sure.
There's trouble coming.
But basically, Mai Ling tells him straight up, it's like, there's going to be a war. It's coming really soon. Here's a ticket on the next boat to China. I want you on it. I want you out of here. And Awesome just rips up the ticket. He's like, I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you in China. I'm not going to make that mistake again. And you can actually see some emotion on Mai Ling's face when he tells her this, because like it does mean something.
Yeah. But also she's like, you're going to get me killed because you won't just get the hell out of town.
Yeah. Well, she was like, this
You're
is,
terrible at sneaking around.
yeah.
I keep having to save you. People are going to figure out that we're brother and sister because this is supposed to be a secret and you're terrible at
Keeping secrets.
keeping secrets.
Well,
yeah.
he blabbed his mouth the
Yeah.
first day he got
And
there.
she's like, we're going to war and you're on the opposite side. This is my last olive branch.
Yep.
Because if you turn this down, I have to go to war against you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh no, but I'm going to save you.
Yeah, but she makes it clear that like if she has to kill him in this war, she will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And later on in the season, it gets pretty damn close. Jeez. We'll talk about that soon.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. That's
And,
it for
well,
episode 4, right? Or do you have final thoughts? What's up?
There was one more scene I wanted to talk about,
Okay.
which is basically Bill runs into Lee at the local bar, the cop bar.
Oh yeah, this is my
And
favorite scene.
Yeah, and they have like a great little kind of like
This is the Alex
exchange.
scene.
Yeah, the Alex scene where he forgot he had.
Oh, he forgot he had the 5th kid.
Yeah.
Come and talk to me when you've got 4 kids.
I thought it was 5.
Fuck me.
Yeah, it was a funny scene. I forgot about it because I related too much.
But
I had flashes.
we got Bill to basically get Lee to share some information about himself.
But
in
then
this
also
scene.
at the end of this scene, Bill goes right back into the gambling.
What an idiot. He
Yeah.
takes the money
Well,
that
he
a
must-
toy
he-
gives him.
Mylene gave him an
no,
out.
a
Or
toy.
sorry, a toy gave him $30 basically.
$30.
He owes 50. She gives him 30. He's got 3 weeks. And he takes that 30 and just gambles it away.
I predict that he's going to turn that 30 into 60 and pocket 10 and pay his bill.
Okay. Would you be able to do that? You can count cards.
End of
can't you?
season.
If I'm going to the White Mountain, yeah, I could do that for sure. Yeah.
You and I need to sit down sometime.
Why?
Come up with a plan.
Oh, I'm not going to the casinos. I hate the casinos.
No, I'll go for you. You just need to be in my ear.
The problem with casinos is you have to have a little bit of luck, but you have to have a lot of money to be able to make a lot of money. If you go in with a few $100, yeah, you can make a few $100, but you need to go in with 50 grand so you can make 50 grand.
I don't think Bill has that much money.
Yeah.
Bill's dealing with like pennies.
Yeah, he's got
He's got
five
five
kids to
kids.
feed.
It's like we have these guys. This is, you can cut this out, but we have people that come in and they win $2-3 million over the course of a weekend, and you'd think that was a shit ton of money, right? But these people are betting $200,000 baccarat hands.
Yeah.
So they had a winning streak of like 12 hands. Big deal. It's like, whoa. If you subtract that down to $5 increments, same as winning $35.
So,
You know what I mean?
what's everyone thinking about this season so far?
Oh God,
it's a fun show.
This
I
is
like it.
great. I have no complaints. Every character makes sense. Every plot line is fulfilled, set up properly. I have no complaints. It's just a fun show to watch, and it's got Game of Thrones level of like chess maneuvering with epic Bruce Lee fights. I have no complaints at all. It's just fun to talk about. This is not
I just wish Bruce was around to
to reap the
be in the
benefits.
show.
Yeah.
I love how well written all of the characters are. I said in the last week when we talked about episodes 1 and 2, like how well written all the female characters are too. Because today I feel like female characters are being written and shoved into things, and they're just so poorly written that you end up hating the characters. But these are just characters that are. It's not about them being women. It's about them being intriguing characters that also happen to be women, and this is how you write a really well written female character.
Yeah, the scene where Mai Ling basically takes out the fun guy leader and
savage,
recruits them. That was like pretty hardcore. And basically the fun guys are their muscle now. Like she's recruited them to be like their guys who are going to fight the Hop Way.
Yeah, our 3 main female characters are Penelope, the mayor's wife, Mai Ling, which is Assam's sister, and Atoy, who runs the brothel.
Yeah.
All really cool characters.
Awesome.
That I don't feel threatened about in any way whatsoever. I really
You
like
would
them.
be. You would be threatened if you were in a room with them.
Right?
Oh, it'd be fun times. Yeah,
I mean, he's basically Big Bill, right?
Yeah, maybe.
He'd be afraid, but with a boner.
He'd be like the mayor.
no,
Yeah.
no,
I'm
no,
terrified, but don't
I guess
stop.
what I'm saying is, I'm just trying to like relate this a little bit to modern culture and stuff. Is I don't feel like these 3 characters are insertions for feminism or anything like that.
Right.
But yet they kind of are. But they're just well written.
Yeah.
To the point where I don't care.
Writing-
I'm interested in these characters.
Good writing
they're
is
fun.
everything.
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 It's everything.
You have to have interesting, well-rounded, cool characters.
Right.
And then you can say whatever you want about
That's it.
society and messaging and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
Like we get Penelope's full kind of like story about how her mother died when she was young. She had to raise her sisters, and when her father's business started going under, she chose to marry this rich family, the mayor. And she was like, like it kills me, but like, I had to do it for my family. And like, you really get to see like why she acts the way she did in the first 2 episodes towards her husband and
Because
stuff
he's
like that.
gross.
Yeah. Well, she talked about how like he would come and visit when she was like
She was
super young.
little.
Oh, he would bring me hard candies. And I'm like, what the? Ugh.
Well, that's not weird.
Yeah, and she talked about how like he used to smile at her, and then like when she reached a certain age, his smile changed.
Yeah.
What? God, this guy's a freak.
Captain Kirk.
Nobody understands that reference, Jude.
Watch our Patreon episodes.
Go to saltynerdclub.com to get in on the weirdness of Captain Kirk.
Oh, Riri.
Girl, you'll be a woman soon.
Not blah, blah, blah.
And you'll still be too old for me.
All right. Final thoughts on these 2 episodes. I know we kind of just said it, but good. Yeah, thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thumbs up.
Right on.
I'm totally intrigued. I'm glad we're watching this show, and I'm looking forward to where it goes.
So I'm
wherever
gonna,
that is. Because it's a new watch for me, so I'm enjoying it.
I have to admit something.
What?
I think this, besides maybe a handful of episodes like the Chinese boxing episode, I don't remember much about what happens this season. So going forward, I might be kind of on a roller coaster ride. Okay. So don't be surprised if you get some weird text messages from me going, oh my God, this is crazy. Well, anyway, June, say goodbye to the people, and we'll let them know what you got going on.
Well, before I do that, I just want to say my thoughts.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really liking this show, and like I said earlier, like it's a kind of a joy to watch these episodes over and over again because they're just so good, and it's kind of fun to watch each episode with like your focus on one storyline or the other, and then the next time you watch it, like just enjoying different perspectives of this show. I think the characters are really well written, and I love how they develop through the seasons. I'm really excited for season 3.
Right on. Kiddish?
So my favorite scene of these 2 episodes was the jailhouse brawl, where Awesome basically lays out the 3 Irish guys. I feel like episode 4 was my least favorite of the season so far. Even though a lot of stuff was established, it's not a bad episode. It's just like I didn't feel like it was as cool and exciting as like the previous 3 episodes we've gotten. Mostly because Awesome didn't really like do anything other than fuck this episode. But we're nearing the midway point. So episode 5 is about the midpoint of the season. So our next episode should cover that in episode 6. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Right on. Me too. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the podcast. I highly encourage you to go on to HBO Max and watch along with us. We will be covering seasons 1 and 2 for the next several weeks until season 3 comes out sometime at the end of June. And then we will be covering those episodes as they drop. I believe they're doing a weekly drop for that. It's not going to be a binge model or anything like that. So please join up with us. Hop in the boat and cross the salt sea and join us for some awesome Warrior discussions. Don't forget to subscribe and like. If you're a fan of Warrior already, come along with us and we can get that hype going for season 3 and help these guys out. I think the more people that know about this show, the better.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you prefer the setup episodes or the action episodes?
I like a good mix. I think two action-y episodes and then like a setup explanation episode in the middle, like a nice little action sandwich for the episodes. That's what I like.
Set up, fight,
Yeah.
repercussions.
Yeah.
Set up, fight, repercussions.
Just curious.
That's what I like. I like a mixture, but not too much.
Just needs to be well written.
It's like a good gin and tonic. Just like tonic, gin is the fight scenes, right? And then just a squeeze of lime for some exposition.
I'm just waiting for knowing Tropper how he is when we get to the war. The what's the
Giant's highlight dish.
what? Yeah, I'm waiting for like a box to be put in like the middle of a walkway or something that they can't go around. Oh shit! It's a box.
No, it's not gonna happen.
You know what I'm saying?
It'll
I
just
know
be
what
a
you're
big pile of opium.
Yeah. Maybe
Some molasses. I love that they call it molasses.
maybe some blind guys can fight with water bottles.
We saw that in John Wick, and I was like, man, they need Tropper on set. This is ridiculous.
Don't you get molasses from the same flour you get opium from? Isn't that why they call it molasses?
I have no idea.
No,
No?
molasses comes from trees.
It's a
'cause
sugar,
It's a
isn't it?
sap.
Molasses is code word for opium.
Yeah.
But opium comes from a flower, right?
Opium comes from
poppy
the
seeds.
It's just
poppy. Yeah.
Yeah.
poppy
Just a
seeds.
taste of molasses on here,
Molasses is just burnt sugar, isn't it? It's like caramel.
pretty much.
I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, guys, that's
Molasses
it.
is literally tree sap.
Boiled up.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned next week. We will see you there. Stay salty, my friends.